We're here to bring you the review of the week, a very nice week. Galacticos, of course, as you like it, and we do too. The good, the bad, and the ugly, the follow and follow. Ashley, you all right?
I'm fine.
Anyway, let's go with the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Let's go with the good.
So, okay, the good is definitely the start and the debut so far of the Madridistas in the Eurocup.
Yes, the Madridistas that we've seen so far playing in the Euros. Toni Kroos, Gareth Bale, Modric, and of course Sergio Ramos, we can't forget about him. And let's start with Toni Kroos in Germany.
Yeah, well, he had a great game. I think it's a good thing because I think this momentum of winning the Champions League, kind of like they're still holding that momentum. And hopefully, it will make them have a great tournament. Kroos played an awesome game, like being the general manager of the national team, the República Federal of Toni Kroos, starting the plays, but also, defending a little bit, but, generating that game and moving all the team around. As we see in Real Madrid, great game against Ukraine. They won 2-0. Then we saw Luka Modric.
Luka Modric, everyone's favorite, our favorite, at least one of our favorite players, who had a wonderful game against Turkey with an awesome goal. It was sort of a strange ball that came up high, but he had that volley without it. It didn't even bounce. It was the
I think nobody expected that.
Nobody expected him to shoot that, and it was reminiscent, not exactly, but it reminded me a little bit of Zidane's goal in the.
I've heard that. I've heard that being said around.
And the way it just floated up, and he just finished it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful goal. Then Gareth Bale, probably not his most brilliant game, but still, opened the score with a nice set piece.
It was a great free kick.
A little bit of a mistake by the goalkeeper maybe, but still, it's a good thing to see Gareth Bale scoring, especially, in Wales' debut in an important tournament. So it's all good for them. Sergio Ramos, winning Spain yesterday against the Czech Republic.
I thought Spain looked good, and I thought Sergio Ramos looked good. And especially, it was nice to see when Piqué scored, Ramos celebrating and jumping on the back of Piqué, because during the season they hate each other and they're the worst enemies. And then.
But I like that. I think it's a sign that these players really understand, their context. And it was Real Madrid, Barcelona. They have this, but it's a very deportivo, like a very, let's say, deportivo, like.
It's sportsmanship.
Sportsmanship, exactly.
It's what you have to do, be able to separate your club and your country. And I think when you represent your country, you need to put that stuff behind you and be able to play. So kudos to Sergio Ramos. I thought he did a good job. I didn't think that there was that much presented defensively for them to do, but I still thought he did well.
Yeah, but he played a very serious game, that's for sure.
And of course, captain, and he did a good job leading.
Yeah, and there's of course Cristiano and Pepe still to make their debut tonight. So we'll see what happens. I will tell you about it tomorrow. So that's good for us. A strong start by our players in the Eurocup. The bad, I think it's it's definitely Brazil.
Brazil.
That's bad.
This pains me deeply because
me too.
As a young girl, Brazil was my favorite national team. The U.S. when I was growing up, wasn't as advanced as they are. And I hadn't come as far as they had come now. So Brazil was the team that I chose. It was a team my dad liked, and I loved that generation of Brazil.
Same thing with me, yeah.
And those players, and it's really been disappointing to see that since that era, they haven't been able to come as a team. I mean, we see a lot of individually great players, but as a team.
But even now, I wouldn't say they have Neymar is their biggest individuality, but he's not even playing the Copa America, and you see a very plain, flat, boring team. I think a lot of changes have to be made in the structures of how they prepare their young talents. We see a lot of maybe them depending on these young talents to come out of nowhere like Neymar and be
Robinho.
This natural, or Robinho. And then, come to Europe and let them, let the European club form our players.
Right.
But then I think we see what happens. I'm very happy to say that it's Peru that kind of not unveil. I mean, Brazil has been playing poorly for years, but Peru unveil eliminating them from the Copa America in the first round, which was unexpected. I think something has to change, but for me, it's really bad and really sad to see Brazil like this.
I agree, and it seems that they come into matches a little bit arrogant. I mean, that match against Peru, it seemed like they thought they had all the time in the world to score a goal, and
which is weird to see Brazil doing that against Peru.
And I mean, it's a team that you expect when you say Brazil. It comes with this reputation of being one of the world powerhouse, and now they really aren't. And it's unfortunate. You've got players with great skills, but that doesn't make a great team.
I think it's fair to say that they're not even like a powerhouse in South America anymore.
No, not anymore.
I mean, look at them. They were knocked out in the group stage. But anyway, that's the bad. And the ugly. For me, for us, is
us.
definitely, the altercations, the fights, the street fights that we had to see between Russian fans and English fans. It is fair to say that, we've been kind of worried. All the world was worried about how security was going to work with the threats of maybe some, terrorist attacks.
Right.
And in the end, there was so much focus on that we kind of, didn't realize that, the problem, the troublemakers were at home.
It could be home. It could be, at home. Also taking alcohol into consideration, I think that really riles
Big
up.
factor.
It's a big factor. Riles up the people, the fans, and so as the game went on. From the beginning before the match to during the match when they're lighting the flares and throwing them onto the field, and then after the match when they're fighting with each other, just like you're ruining a good time for 99% of the fans.
Exactly, and I don't know if all these fans were like people who were identified by the governments that shouldn't be allowed out or to travel to France, or just like normal people that for some reason, as you say, maybe like too much to drink, got excited or maybe too excited and started fights. But this is ugly.
I don't fight when I get too drunk, so.
Yeah, I don't get too drunk at all. But sometimes,
Yeah,
but I don't fight. But anyway, that's the thing. It's ugly to see that it's just like, the fans from the countries that are playing when it should be a party of, sportsmanship and camaraderie.
Camaraderie.
I like that word.
This should be just a good word. It feels good rolling off the tongue. Camaraderie. Say it with us. But I think that especially in these international tournaments where you bring fans from all over the world, all over Europe together, and everyone is wanting to see this, and it's a time where you can forget about other stuff that's happening and really focus on the football and enjoy it. Then something like this happens afterwards, and you're just ruining it for everyone, guys. Come on.
Yeah. It's disappointing.
I'm disappointed in you.
She is, take that seriously. But anyway, Galacticos, that was for us, the good, the bad, and the ugly of this week. And follow us to the real news. Today, evidently, what's most on the covers of the newspapers is yesterday's Spain victory, which I liked. It was a good game by the national team. Definitely, maybe got a little bit more complicated than it should have because of what we saw on the pitch. But at the end, they insisted and they got that goal, gave them the 3 points. So let's go with Marca. Marca opens with a very nice picture of Piqué's header and Ramos right there behind. I like it a lot because there's a Ramos and Piqué, all this kind of friendship they have, which the point I want to make here is it's really cool to see how these players understand really that the context of Real Madrid, Barcelona, and all that little beef they have when they play with their clubs, how that disappears when they're in the context of the national team. They've won everything together, they want to win it together, and they look like friends, and I love that. I think it's great. I think it's what the national team needs, to achieve success. And hopefully Spain will achieve some success this Eurocup. So it's a nice picture, says Piqué da la victoria. Piqué gives the victory in the 86 to a ilusionante España. It's España that, makes people excited. And we'll see what happens. And of course, there's the emoticons, the emojis, the kisses, kind of alluding a little bit to Piqué's behavior in social networks when he's, putting the eye and putting the finger in the eye of Real Madrid sometimes. But I think in this case it's beautiful. I like the cover, I like the picture, and I like the game. It also talks about Varane. It says Varane is thinking about his future in Real Madrid. We'll see what happens with that. Says a goal with the hand, a goal scored with the hand knocks Brazil out of the Copa America. We've already talked about that, and we'll talk some more in the follow and follow. And then, of course, Sepp Blatter, we'll talk about that too. So that's Marca. And the AS is a little bit more of the same. It says, thank you, Piqué, which is also like, it says a header by Piqué gives Spain the victory in 86. Again, more of the same. But I like it because, it's normally a newspaper that is kind of fighting Piqué during the year and the season, the Madrid-Barcelona beef again. And in this case, they understand that, they're a team. They're all, pushing and fighting for the same thing. And in this case, Piqué is the center back of the national team, and great. So thank you, Piqué. It says, Piqué comments his quote, says, my son was in the stands with a Spain's jersey. Of course. It's also beautiful. It's all very nice until we get, of course, to sport. Just pretty much the same, a picture of Piqué celebrating, but the headline says, now what? Like provoking a little bit, saying like, oh, all the press from Real Madrid or the Madridista press have been, bothering Piqué, and now what is like saying like, oh, now you're all gonna come and ask for Piqué's forgiveness. It's something that's completely out of line, completely out of context. Piqué has understood, and Ramos and all the players have understood that when they're playing for the national team, they're a team. And whatever happens outside or in their own clubs is not really important. No, everybody has understood that, but the Diario Sport, of course, they don't seem to understand what it is about. It says, Piqué salva España. You know, and all about this, you know, like, a goal made in Barcelona. Like, you know, they can't shake off that thing even when the national team is playing. I think that's horrible. But anyway, you know, it is what it is. I can like it more or less, but it's still gonna be the same. That was what the press had to say today after, you know, a good day on Spain's debut in the Eurocup. Let me know what you think, Galacticos. Do you agree with me? Am I crazy? You know, is my analysis a bit too twisted? Maybe not. You know, want to know what you think, and we'll see you in the follow and follow. Here for the follow and follow section, you know, see who behaved and misbehaved this week. I don't know why Ashley's laughing.
I thought you were gonna scare me, that's why.
Yeah, I tried to, but I couldn't. Follow and follow, Ashley.
Follow and follow this week. I'll start with my follow, which I think is really cool. I wish I knew this kid's name. So I guess I don't know his name. In this video that he shows up in it's a Nike football new advertisement that's out with Cristiano Ronaldo and a bunch of other players, Anthony Martial. It's called The Switch. And in this video, the kid's name is Lee. I don't know if his real name is Lee, but if your name really is Lee, follow him. It's a really cool video. It's one of those, the last one they came out with I think was called Risk Everything, and it was where the kids turned into all of these famous footballers and they were playing for like the World Cup. And it was
The Switch, I haven't seen it.
Oh, so you guys should watch The Switch. It's about 5 minutes long, but it's where Cristiano Ronaldo's playing against England or another national team. He falls over the side railings and bumps into an English kid. They switch bodies, and
Wow.
it's a switcheroo.
Sounds cool.
They switch bodies, and the kid wakes up in Cristiano Ronaldo's body, and Cristiano Ronaldo wakes up in this boy's body. And they both end up being, the kid grows up to be a professional footballer on the English team, and they face each other years later down the road, where they bump into each other again and re-switch bodies. But the kid, because he's in Cristiano Ronaldo's body, and I mean, no, I'm explaining it poorly. You just have to watch it, but it's really
watch
cool.
it. That definitely sounds deep.
It's deep.
Kind of like Inception kind of thing. Like, I was like, whoa, right.
Or like Freaky Friday, more like it. So.
Unfollow?
My unfollow will be, and I think you will agree with me, for Sepp Blatter. This guy just doesn't stop.
Gangsta!
This guy is now blaming UEFA for only tampering with the balls of the draws when they draw, having the balls hot and cold. I'm explaining myself very poorly, but saying that FIFA never had any part in
for
this.
For 17 years, he was the president of FIFA, but in FIFA it never happened, he witnessed it in UEFA.
But he did see it in UEFA, and it's just like, come on, dude. You know what? Don't try and throw other people under the bus now. Take responsibility for your actions.
He's already been convicted for corruption. So come on, Seth, you know, gangsta. Gangsta. Anyway, follow and follow. My follow of this week goes to Raul Rui Diaz. Most of you don't know who I'm talking about, but he's a Peruvian player who scored that goal with the hand against Brazil. And for all that this has generated, all the memes, very funny, and basically for eliminating, knocking out Brazil of the Copa America in the first round with a goal with the hand. As a Peruvian, I have to say I'm pretty excited. I shouldn't be, because it's not a fair goal. But come on, man. We're always on the receiving end of bad, referees' decisions, offsides, penalties. For once, we have benefited from a bad call, and we should be happy.
And
so
to be fair, as an objective fan, I guess, of football, the first time I saw it, he did it so that it didn't exactly look like a handball if you were shooting it from above.
Yeah, as my dad would say,
his leg
it was not a hand, it was a thigh with fingers. But so follow to Raúl El Pajarito Rui Diaz, and my unfollow comes in the universe of the Copa America still to Dunga, because after the game in the press conference, I felt like he was kind of blaming the ref, saying like, with this much technology available, I don't know why they make these mistakes, kind of blaming it on one mistake. Saying it's not fair, Dunga. You're not out of the Copa America for one mistake. You're out of the Copa America because your team is lame, your team is poor, and you played to nothing. And you couldn't score a goal against Ecuador for 90 minutes.
Right.
You couldn't score a goal against Peru for 90 minutes. It's not a hand that put you out of the Copa America.
And had they had a result, a goal and one against Ecuador, they would be through.
Exactly.
So I understand what he's saying about the technology and how something like this could happen, but it's really, really lame, like you said, for a head coach to blame one call on being eliminated from this tournament.
Especially from the head coach of
right,
Brazil.
Brazil.
You know, not,
Come on, dude. Like, you need to take responsibility for your players, the way your team played, and your coaching, because that is a big part of it, and that's what managers have to do, is take responsibility for the successes and the failures of your team. It's not because of a referee mistake. Handballs happen all the time. Bad calls happen all the time.
Yeah.
You have to work through adversity, and if you're on the receiving end of bad stuff, look within yourself, Dunga. What more can I tell you?
Dunga, you should call Ashley for a therapy,
Yeah.
and she will help you look within yourself. But anyway, Galacticos, we hope you enjoyed that. Do you agree with our bad, good, and ugly? We were follow.
And watch the switch.
Watch the switch?
I don't work for Nike. I just thought it was cool. It sounds like I'm working for Nike football. I would like to work for Nike football. Sorry.
You would? You would like to leave us to work for Nike football?
Or do them both at the same time. Call me Nike football.
Anyway, Galacticos, we have to go. So we'll see you tomorrow.